episode's fucked.
I hate you, Jan.
Okay, whatever that was.
I'm right, though.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of BPM. This is episode 16, where bitchin' pitties, man. Where the Vipers like to come out and play. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I love it so much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wonderful episode. I am Blaine, a.k.a. Papa Bear. To my left is Jan, the photographer.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't either. And to my right is Trevor, the musician.
Check out these fucking guns!
Yeah! Oh, yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother.
I just straight up lost my water.
Hi, I guess I can be serious for 2 seconds.
You should have had the pitties on when we were doing that, dude. Like, straight up. So, Jan and Trevor got some pit vipers, if you hadn't noticed. Oh, yours disappeared. Why do you keep setting them on the lenses?
Yeah,
They're $100 glasses, dude. You gotta take more pride in that than you do your girls. All right?
I mean, I do.
I look like a fucking cop.
No, they're not aviators.
No.
Hang on, guys. This is the most extreme competitive form of dodgeball you've ever fucking played, okay? We are not out here throwing balls. We're out here throwing pit vipers. Yeah!
Where the Vipers like to come out and play.
What does your therapist say about this?
You don't want to know, okay?
Let me tell you. I tell him to knock it off. I'm the closest thing he has to a therapist at this moment in time. So, anyway, ladies
what about
and gentlemen.
his pillow? He's got the waifu body pillow.
Why you gotta expose me like that?
Is it named?
We're bleeping that one. We're bleeping
It's all
that
good.
one.
Why? Nobody knows but us. Nobody knows but us. It's a secret story. Maybe one day they'll get married and like this whole thing will come around and he'll show it to her and she'll be like, "Oh my God, that's our episode with the pitties."
And that's how the divorce starts?
You okay?
Yeah.
You know, we
BPM?
actually have to do a show at
I
some
know.
point.
I'm just waiting. That's why I keep going, oh.
Okay, just checking. Anyway, so welcome to episode 16 with BPM. On this episode, we will be discussing releasing your music. More directly, like when you're done making an album or an EP, how to go about it. What's the ways that you would go about putting it onto streaming services, getting it out onto your iTunes services, Android, Google, whatever the hell's out there. I don't even know them all these days. There's so many of them.
Oh, damn kids under
The most insane list of streaming services we could go down.
Right. But one of the big things to do is we also want to dabble a little bit into as well how to promote that album release, EP release, etc., or how to market it in a way that works out well for your release so that way you've got a good first drop on it.
I think the gist of it is really, if you've done all this work to record an album, now what?
Right.
Yeah.
So you've gone through the studio, you've done all that. We're not going to go into that because that's like a whole topic in itself.
I could talk about that for like 2 hours straight.
Pretty much. But we want to talk about
please
like
stop
after
him.
you've gotten all those masters back, after you've put in the time and effort in to get the recordings done. Now, I didn't even hear what you said.
That's okay.
Okay. This is going to be the worst distraction episode ever. I can just feel it. Meow. Anyway.
You did it to yourself.
Anal seepage. Anyway, so we're going to move forward now, or else we're never going to get this done. You've gotten out, you've gone to the recording studio, or you've been recording in your own home studio, whatever preference you have. You get all your masters taken care of. Where does the process go from here? That's kind of what we want to talk to you guys about today. So,
I just posted on my Facebook, bro.
what, your new album?
Yeah, bro.
That's
It's
what
just
you do every time.
bro.
If you guys haven't noticed, go check out Jan's page. He likes to do these little like live videos on Facebook where he does metal karaoke. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it.
It's actually
so
pretty
good. In all reality, he really should be singing in a band. At this
No,
point.
for real.
For real.
For ice cream's on the lock. Like,
Dude, I do
on
such
the
a good
lock.
Katy Perry. It's honestly, it's
You don't know
incredible.
shit about Katy Perry.
Please, all I ask is this whole episode is that you keep some persona with those pit vipers.
I'm going, bro. you don't even gotta ask.
bro.
You don't even know, bro. Check out these guns. I'm fucking juicing, okay?
This is so great. I love it.
Dude,
Anyway,
honestly, this whole episode is going to be those 3 seconds right there.
I know.
That's all it needs.
it just looped for
Yep.
like a half hour. But anyway,
Juicy.
so Trevor, you're actually the one who's probably most recently released a CD. So you have 2 albums out at this time, and then you also have a single released.
Yeah, we have a single released, and if you want to dive really far back, we have a single that I don't talk about.
We'll get to that.
You just brought it up.
Right.
But I rarely talk about it because it was like the first thing we ever did in like a legit studio environment, and like we didn't even know what we were gonna do, but we booked an 8-hour block at a really expensive studio, and we're like, wow, we're just gonna record something.
Dear God, help you. Anyway, don't.
This
don't
is
do
why
that.
the
Not
recording an
advised.
album episode is going to be at least 3.5 hours, and that's just us talking to Trevor and saying no.
What you talking about, bro? You only tell me, yeah.
Oh yeah, never do a Slim Jim. Anyway, so you've just gotten done out of the studio. You've gotten your masters back. You're getting ready to do the process. What is the first thing you do after you get your masters back? You all agree everything sounds great. You're going to move forward from there.
So for us, I've noticed that we tend to do things a little bit differently, I would say, than most bands. But what we do is like when we get our masters back, we sit on them for a while. Like we build the hype up, and we make sure we take at least, some good promo photos, and then we talk amongst ourselves like, hey, what's the best way to release this? Should we put out a single off the album first, or should we put out like a visualizer? But it really just depends on what you want to do with what you want to do with your work. Do you want to just go, oh, hey guys, here's an album? That's not going to work out great for you. You got to put some hype into it, some promotion into it. So what we did with our latest releases, we got with the producer of the album, and we talked with him and was like, hey, like we don't just want to do a standard release, like, March 3rd at 8 p.m. EST, this is when our new album drops. No, we decided we wanted to do like a whole game plan with it. So like 2 weeks before the album dropped, we had put out a single. Then we all blacked out our Facebook pages, and then we put up like a counter. So obviously, something's going on. Our Facebook page says 20, and then it says 19, then it says 18. And that starts to make people wonder. And then from there, you just kind of, whether you want to put out a video or something like that, this is stuff that you need to decide way ahead of time. You don't want to do it last minute like we did, because then it feels rushed, and people can tell that it feels rushed. It's like, oh, they dropped this, and then they're like, oh, hey, check this out. And then it's like, oh, the next day, here's the album, which is kind of what we did with Violence is the Answer. But with the Incantations, we definitely put a lot more work into it. We got more artwork done. We had promos taken. We filmed a music video. And just, you got to try and like, not to be like big things coming, but you got to build some hype up for your release. Now, then that goes into where are we releasing it? Like what you said, like what streaming services, this and that. And honestly,
Hold on.
It's
You're
so hard
jumping.
to take you seriously with the pitties on.
No, I love it. Now I want to stop you there.
I'm paused.
One of the things is you're about to jump into the streaming services. So the first thing that you're kind of wanting to figure out for yourself is how do you want to release it? So much spit. Anyway, but it's one of those things where you want to figure out, do you want to take and promotional it in a way that is like the timer, like you talked about? Do you want to throw a music video out there? One of the really best ways to do that is to just do a lyrical video. If you don't have the money and capability to like go out and get a photographer or videographer to go out there and really do high-end promo shots and stuff like that, there are quite a few guys out there that do that for a very reasonable price.
I'm going to just throw one out there right now and plug the homies, Zen Media.
Yes.
Anything you want to do media-wise, they got you. You want to record music, you want visuals made, you want a show flyer made, you want a like plain set of lyric video, anything. They'll take care of you, and they're really reasonable too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as you make them put shoes on.
What?
I don't think you should be required to wear shoes in your own home.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway.
One thing I will say is, especially if you're talking about promo shots, you talked about going in the studio and promoting it from there. I know myself and a lot of photographers like me. Yeah, a full promo shoot takes time, effort, planning, all that. But if you just want some like high quality candid photos of you in a vocal booth and or just detail shots of you guys in the studio, those are fun photos to use to promote the fact that you are working on the album or you have been working on the album.
Something that I want to
And
add
they're
to
a lot
that.
more cost efficient.
If you do have the time and the funds, obviously the person we work with is also a photographer that we record with. And so like once we were done, he went back through, even though we weren't recording anything, he just had us ghost play to shit, and he took videos of it, really high quality, and he put together 2 studio diaries that he included in the cost of our recording, too, for free, pretty much. And so that's another good promotional tool. Another thing that I like to see bands do in the studios is like, hey, you know, we're in the studio, but we're having a good time playing games. Ask us some questions or something like that. Because then it's like, oh, they're in the studio. They got to be fucking recording something. I'm going to go chime in on this. Like, that's all good promotion.
What I was going to get back to is that you guys keep running off in directions before I can finish. So lyric videos are really great because it's showing that, like, hey, something's coming. Is it a new single? Is it a new EP? Is it a new album? Nobody knows, but there's a new music video, or it's a new lyric video. I don't call them music videos quite yet. But it's really cool because you're starting to see like what the lyrics are about. Where's the album going? Where's that song going? Has it changed styles from the album before? Are they evolving, or are they sticking with the same style? Are they trying something completely different? I like those just because they are a great hype builder because you get audio and you get to kind of see the lyricist's mindset at that point.
Yeah.
If you get really good lyric videos, you can get guys like Randy Abbott,
Scott Rudd.
And then, like we were talking about with Zen Media, Jakob, he's really, or Stephen John Bergen, whatever you want to call him.
I still feel so betrayed.
It's Jakob. It's Jakob.
It's Jakob.
It'll always be
It's
Jakob.
Jakob.
Whatever.
Jakob. It's not.
I say
Nathan.
Jakob because I think of Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, and that's the problem.
Look, man,
His name's
it's you,
Steven
pineapple
fucking
boy.
Trigger.
It's fucking you, pineapple on pizza boy.
Pineapple
on to you.
pencil. Pineapple
I'm gonna
pen?
have to wash my mic windscreen after this.
You guys are really throwing me off here. Anyway, we're having a moment.
No. This is important. You don't put pineapple on pizza. It doesn't go there.
I'm not
Anyway,
going to argue. I don't eat it.
I was gonna say that's irrelevant to me.
The only time pineapple should ever touch my food is if it's a Hawaiian burger.
I was gonna say
That's a good point.
grilled pineapple on a burger. That's the only way.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
That's
Nothing
fair.
else is acceptable.
Gets me juiced up.
I'm so done.
Anyway, but I think that's one of the best forms of hype building, but still giving something to your guys. So that way it's to your fans. So it's not along the lines of that big news coming. It's like, no, we dropped something. So there's no need to do the big news coming or even announce the album at that point.
It's nothing empty. It's something tangible.
Right. And that's the thing that you really need to think about when you're doing your promotional for your new album coming. You don't have to reveal that an album's coming. For all anybody knows, those studio shots you were talking about, the stuff that you're talking about, hey, we're in the studio, shoot us some questions. They don't know it's a full-length album. You don't have to reveal that. If you just give out a single, then it's a surprise when the album does drop because it's like, oh, we thought you guys were just doing a single or maybe an EP. There's no clue, but it's cool because it gets their attention that something new came out. Go ahead.
So I think kind of what you were talking about, how, you know, a single gives a taste for the album. Clearly it does. If you don't have a song like this one kind of speaks to our new style, this is our new single, or you don't have, you know, maybe you don't have a visualizer to go with it or a lyric video or something like that. Honestly, like, if you have album artwork you're working on, something like that, kind of, you know, tip the veil just a little bit, even something just visual, kind of showing, like, hey, something new is coming, here's something tangible, here's something for you to look at, it's a new style, or maybe it's the same style, whatever it is.
And that's also a thing I like also as well is promo shots.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a band putting up new promo shots, something's coming.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to go out and get promo shots unless something is coming, really.
Look,
unless
I know how hard
I think
it can
that's
be.
the only time we do get promo shots.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
know,
99% of bands.
and realistically, you know, I know how hard it is to set up photo shoots with just like one or two people in them. A full band? Nah, man, that takes fucking time and effort to get everything
that's at least
coordinated.
a month of fucking planning. Right
And
there.
It's a month of people missing messages until the day off is what it is.
But something I would like to also touch base with you guys on, and I mean this is no disrespect. If you went in and you spent time and money in a studio, or even if you did it at home, consider your time as the money you spent. Why would you go and do cell phone photos for your promo? Please,
I will scream at you.
Please think about it. Now,
Not publicly.
Now, granted, there are some people who can do some wizardry with a cell phone. Okay,
yeah.
I'll give you that. But there's still like lighting and effects and editing and all that stuff. Try to think about it. If you're going to spend that much money in a studio, you want your band to look the best, or your image to look the best
Right.
that it absolutely can. So think about that as well. I know a lot of bands that focus on the music, and you do fantastic stuff. Everything else you can really tell is kind of like secondhand. And it does become aware. It does visually stand out. And
it's something else, too, I think, where, if this is, especially if, you're a newer band, and maybe you don't have all that much in terms of following for your music yet. You're still fairly new, or maybe you're still finding your own style, and you hadn't quite found your style of music yet. Something that's just visual on somebody's social media feeds can capture the attention more quickly sometimes. I can look at those while I'm at work, man. I don't have to worry about the audio playing.
Right.
And something I would suggest, too, is that if you have no way of getting good photography, do art, do a drawing,
Yes.
anything at that point. Because
That's kind of why I went into the album art thing instead of a promo shot per se. And obviously, hire a photographer, pay us. That's kind of... But if you have album art that you're working on, if you have a concept that you are using in songs, in the album itself, something visual, use it for promo.
Absolutely. I agree. It doesn't always have to be that your audio is the displayer, and it doesn't always have to be that you have to reveal the album right out the gate. Now, that being said, let's move forward. Streaming. Now you may go into that topic.
I'm about to ask you some dumb questions.
I am
on
about
that
to
one.
smack the shit out of him.
Streaming. So when you get together with you guys and you got your masters back, there's a few different ways that you can go about it. You could either sit there, and I've done it, and you go, all right, submit to Apple Music. All right, submit to Pandora. All right, submit to Bandcamp, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spotify.
I like these nuts. ...
at whatever service you're using. Or you could be like the new wave of people and pay $25 to this awesome service called DistroKid. And no, this is not sponsored by DistroKid, but what DistroKid does is it takes your music, it takes your art, your lyrics, URLs, Facebook pages, everything like that, and it compiles them all into one. Then you upload your masters, and from that point on, they submit it to all those places for you for a very low fee of $25 per year if you get the VIP package.
Are you sure we're not sponsored by DistroKid?
I mean, we probably
He's explaining the service that he's used.
But
let's just let him continue.
And I've done it both ways, and this honestly I get a headache when it comes to uploading music and stuff like that.
On that note, though, streaming versus physical copies.
Here's the thing. You always want to have a physical copy. Even though we uploaded it to all these places and we set our prices here and on iTunes and on Bandcamp and whatever, you always want to have a physical CD. And we do. That's the main goal, is you want to have something you can hand out tangible in person of the work that you put in, but then also you want it to be able to be listened to anywhere. Like Blaine exclusively uses iTunes, right?
You are jumping ahead again.
He's asking me questions!
And you are jumping ahead again. Focus on the streaming.
Okay, so from there, once you upload your stuff, you set your price on
I
iTunes.
ask about CDs when I can't even play them.
Which is even better.
Yeah, you don't have a disc drive. But so pretty much you upload, it gets approved, and it takes different amounts of times for different ones. iTunes takes the longest because they're iTunes.
Well, they like to go through a background check.
Exactly.
So the other thing you need to remember, too, is that when you're doing that, it doesn't instantly upload.
No.
You have to get authorization from the different companies that you're putting these things to. They need to know that the file sizes are correct. They need to know that the artwork is of the right quality.
That there's no watermarks or stock images, this
Exactly.
and that.
That you own the work.
And so with that, I recommend, because we did not know that at the time, that it takes X amount of time for this place. It gets approved for, let's say Spotify, but for some reason it took 2 weeks longer for iTunes.
Right.
So before you set a date that you're going to release this, make sure that it gets approved on all of them first.
Yes.
Because we did that and we made a big mistake with that. But in my opinion, versus going individually to all those sites, DistroKid's the way to go.
Now, there are other options out there like CD Baby. I know
Yeah.
that's a big one people have heard of. CD Baby charges a lot more. DistroKid really has been stepping up its game quite a bit, and I'm impressed with them. I think CD Baby still offers a few more options more than them.
And they're faster, too.
And they're faster, but the only thing I would say is that most people don't get the album in their hand, upload it, and it's like, I want it today. There's usually a date that you have in mind with that, so that's not too big of a deal. The other thing with the streaming platforms as well is that you want to make sure that you don't have to throw it to every streaming platform. Now, if you're using something like DistroKid, CD Baby, et cetera, they'll have like a set number of ones that they do right out the gate. Really just think about what the market usually is. It's usually Google, Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora.
Those are really just the top 5.
I think that's really the top 5.
Those are the only ones that I really trip about, but it is a plus because then they give you analytics too, and like they don't take a cut out of any of your purchases. So like let's say I have my album set for $10.99 on iTunes, you're getting that full $10.99. They don't take anything, which I think is cool too.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when?
DistroKid doesn't take anything after you pay.
Oh, DistroKid. I thought you were saying DistroKid does, or iTunes doesn't take anything. Like,
no,
iTunes gets a cut.
iTunes does. iTunes does for sure. But like my point is so like if you set it up, if you go through DistroKid and you upload it to Bandcamp and you set your price through DistroKid, you're getting all that minus the affiliates cut.
Okay.
So DistroKid itself doesn't take anything.
All right, and that's good because I was sitting there, I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right here. But the thing that you should know too, and before we get into the physical, I'm not
there yet. I'm not there yet.
So
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I'm gonna get physical with you. Anyway, physical. Nipples now. Oh, sorry. Anyway, physical. Anyway, so the big thing is that you also need to remember that you're going to be doing digital distribution as well. Now, a lot of those DistroKids, CD Babies, et cetera, all of those will put them to like iTunes, your Amazons, not just iTunes streaming for service, Apple Music, or
Apple Music
not just their streaming services, but they will put them on their digital purchase sections as well. With those, you need to make sure that you pay attention to what their cut is going to be, so that way when you set the price, it's at a price that you can live with their cut being taken out. You don't really get to dictate too much. I believe if you're over a certain dollar point, it goes to $1.29 per song, unless you buy the album, which might be a little bit cheaper, which is always nice. And I honestly think that a song is worth $1.29. I really have no qualm with that whatsoever. And then if you set it, I believe, under $6 or $7, it goes down to where the songs are only 89 cents on the little screen that you're looking at on your phones. For iTunes, I don't do Amazon and Google and all those because I'm an iPhone user. So
we all have our flaws.
But it's one of those things where you really need to pay attention. Shut up. It's one of those things where you really need to. Still got more products on the second hand than you do. Anyway, and it's more supported by everybody. So
that's true.
Suck it. But anyway. The main point is that you need to make sure you watch out for those cuts and fees that are going to come out of it, so that way you get what you need. And if you're setting it up and you're expecting a ton of money to come to you from those streaming services, please think again, because it takes millions and billions and trillions of those fucking sound plays before you'll really make any decent money.
We've made more money off Amazon Music than we have everything else combined.
And let's be real, Apple's not exactly known for wanting to pay people.
Well, actually, in the streaming services, Apple's actually one of the better ones out there.
Yeah.
Really?
For the streaming service payment, for the payouts, there's one that was made by Dr. Dre, and I cannot remember what it's called, but it is, the last I read, the best paying, but I'd never heard of it, and neither had anyone else that I'd ever talked to about it. So it must have been something new, up and coming, and maybe it's just big in the rap culture, but that one is the top paying one, and I think Apple was actually the third, and Spotify was all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, Spotify is the worst.
Yeah,
literally
so
the worst.
Just think about that. If you're thinking about making money off of streaming, I wouldn't. Just think of it as a service to kind of get your music out further.
It's an easy way to be heard.
Yeah, it's an easy way for people to find your music in a way that they probably wouldn't have before.
Fair.
But digital sales are fantastic. And then I believe for digital sales, do they send you a check or is it directed to an account?
For us, we put in our PayPal.
Okay.
We just have a band PayPal that we use, and we put in the routing and accounting number.
And then when people purchase it, it just sends it straight to their
to our PayPal account,
The one thing, you mentioned digital sales are fantastic. They are more so for the end user than the band, I would even say.
Oh, I
think
agree.
there's a lot of convenience there for the listener, more so than the band, perhaps.
Oh, I agree. Like, there's no joke when I say that I've got more bands on this thing than I do CDs now.
It's so fucking true, too. Every time we hop in the car, I'm like, God damn, I love it when you put your phone on shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, I just
5,000 plus songs on there.
Oh, easily, and that's not even all of my music. That was just what I just happened to throw in there real quick.
But that's awesome. Yeah.
But for the end user, it's so easy for them to just pull out their thing that they have on them all day, called the phone or a tablet or an iPod or whatever, and just it's done. They now have your music. They don't have to go to a store. They don't have to try to hunt you down and pay for shipping fees and all that stuff. convenience is something that's really easy to be said. So remember, your CDs are still fantastic to have, which we're going to be diving into next on the physical side, but the digital aspect is so convenient for your end user. And most likely, if you're a crazy asshole like me, you'll buy the digital version, and then when I see you guys live, I'm still going to buy your CD anyway. So, yeah. Now, going into physical CDs. Let's talk, Jan. What was your question?
Let's get physical. So here's my question. Why is your hand still?
Because I need you.
Wait, is that your... Okay.
Oh, it was my finger. It's okay.
Oh my God.
So anyway, your question.
Yeah. So Trevor, so I think one of the things when you're releasing a physical copy of your CD as well as just the digital version, do you try and time that so you get them out at the same time as well, or is it
As the digital?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
It's always a release across the board.
If you were to put it out digitally and then the merch head like Blaine hits you up and it's like, oh man, I need the physical copy. Do you have one? And you're like, no, well, you just lost that sale. Because, I mean, yeah, you're still going to buy it online, but that doesn't give you anywhere near as much money. Well,
there's a lot of people that won't do digital either. There's a lot of audio files that will really just tell you, it's like, I don't want anything on my phone unless they still buy CDs, they still buy records because there's still a better audio quality than what comes through your phone.
Yeah, totally.
So,
and for those guys, like, we've had that happen before where, for instance, somebody had hit us up on the band page and they were like, hey man, I really want a CD version of Violence is the Answer and Incantations. And this is right after we got off tour. We didn't have shit for merch. Like, I've got the last CD, but that's because I wanted one of my own band CDs. I'm weird like that. But like, we didn't have shit for merch. And so we were like, oh, sorry, dude, you're going to have to wait till the next shipment comes in. And that's going to be in like 3 weeks. He's like, oh, I'll wait. Like, you can go here and buy it. You can go here and listen to it. And he's like, no, man, I need the CD. And so I definitely feel that.
And some people are really big on that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's some, you need to cater to your audience. Now, you can't do everything, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go out and make vinyl presses of something that I am not ready to make vinyl presses of. But
it's
there
expensive.
There are audio files
I
that
only
would want
listen
it.
to my music if it's made by llamas singing in tones while people poke them with hot irons.
That's fair.
And I mean, you know, that works too, but like...
But the big thing is I want to kind of loop back into the topic of it. So the physical CDs. Now, physical CDs is something that I have aspect in. I've actually never dabbled in the digital world, so that's why I kind of let Trevor go first with the streaming services and the iTunes. I know info about them, but I've never personally done it. Now, making CDs is something I have done on many occasions. I'm going to say that there are lots of companies out there that do stuff. Do your research. When I started doing it, there was like disc makers. What else is there?
They still exist.
Yeah, disc makers are still around.
Easy Disc.
CD
Baby, obviously.
Yeah, I forget that they actually went into the actual distribution side of things.
Yeah.
But
which,
there's
again, they cost
Copycats Media, and I've used Copycats Media a couple times, but even their rates have started to go up quite a bit to where I don't do it. I would highly suggest talk to other bands. Other bands will tell you who's really good at getting you quick presses. The second thing to be really responsible about is pay attention to how many you're ordering, because Copycats, CD Baby, disc makers, all those bigger named places, if you don't order a certain quantity, what they do is they give you these CDs that look like a burned CD. I know some of you kids may not know what that is, but a burned CD has... No, I'm serious. There's a lot of people who have no idea what a burned CD is.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just realized how old I was. Thanks. I needed that
cool.
today.
Thanks. I can still record on tapes if I wanted to. The back of the CD, the part that the actual laser reads, it's like this iridescent greenish kind of color, whereas like a normal CD that you would get that's high pressed would be a clear. And it doesn't sound like much, but I know of so many labels. I know of so many people who are like major producers and stuff like that. They will be like, oh man, that's cool. They'll open your CD, they'll pull the CD out, and the very first thing they do is they flip that sucker over. And then they go, huh, and they put it back. It is a standard. Does it change much? No. It really doesn't. It doesn't change the audio quality. It doesn't do anything. But for some reason, there is a standard in people's heads that, oh, you've got burned CDs.
Right.
It's not a burned CD. You paid for the product, but they don't know that. And they want to see a certain level of professionalism. Well, unfortunately, a lot of those places require, like, you have to order 500 CDs. Well, when you're buying 500 CDs, that's not exactly cheap, because you're talking about the sleeves, you're talking about the artwork, you're talking
panels,
about all of it.
Is
it a jewel case?
Yeah.
Is it a sleeve?
Is it poly-wrapped? Does it have an individual UPC code on it?
Exactly.
Are you paying for it to be, barcoded? Like,
That's the UPC.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
UPC and barcode is pretty much the same thing. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of variables that go into that. That's the one I stress to a lot of people is it's like, it sounds stupid, but try to see if you can find a place that'll give you the actual clear back ones. But if you talk to bands, there are so many names out there that have never been heard. Hell, when we were talking to Taylor of Steak Sauce, he mentioned one. I wrote the name down instantly and hit them up because I've got an album that's coming out soon and they sounded fantastic. Other bands know who's good out there. Talk to them. You can find the best rates, the best quality. And as Taylor was telling us, that place is really great for like, oh shit, we ran out of shit on tour. Cool. We'll have another set to you in 2 days. Where are you going to be at? We'll ship it to that spot.
The other thing there to keep in mind is something, I've heard a lot of this, and that's when you're talking to other bands about how quality changes over time. I think a lot of these places had a great reputation at one point and have just deteriorated in quality.
I will agree to that, but a lot of it too is that like Copycats Media, I used to use them, fantastic quality, but the rates just kept going up. And I think that comes with more of the demand or the supply and demand. But at the same time too, I also noticed that Copycats is adding like a lot more stuff to their packages that they do, which is great.
They're trying to go for the bigger sales.
Right, but I don't need it, you know?
Yeah, if you just want to get 200 CDs made, that's probably not the one you would go with.
Well, it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but just make sure that it does
state.
change. Yeah. So, like, if you came to me, I'd be like, oh, Copycats. That may not be your best choice. Ask around. Look around. At least
and ask people
you.
who've done it recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very important, too. Ask people who've made CDs more currently than people who have made them in the past. It does go a long way. Now, recording studios and stuff, that is like, they're great no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But CDs and products and things of that nature, merch, they change with time.
I found that like for CD production for us, the one that was like, because when we print around CDs, we're obviously not out here buying 1,000 of them because we're not going to be able to sell 1,000 of them across 2 shows. We order like 200 to 500 at a time. Easy Disc for us gave us that like perfect amount of quality, but also bang for the buck too. And like I think they're pretty fair because if you do like let's say 250 CDs, they give you a discount to get 150 posters printed.
Yeah. And that's always a benefit.
Yeah, and so it's like when you bundle all their services together, you're actually getting a pretty good fucking deal.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is if you're wanting to look into that, and that's what I was going to kind of touch into next, is that they do have package deals for that, which is really cool when you're releasing a CD to be like, oh, and here's a sticker and here's a poster because you came with it anyway. So you bought 500 CDs, you get 150 of those posters and 150 of those stickers. It's like the first 150 people that buy the album get a free poster signed by the band and a free sticker. Yep. Cool, you get that little bonus bump. That's awesome. That's more marketing towards promoting your stuff.
So now somebody else is running ahead because that's something I wanted to eventually get into is the physical promotion other than the album itself.
This should be the running episode.
Yeah.
It should be the running episode.
It's like a running joke.
So I do still want to stick on that, but he brought that up. That's why I just tied it in.
That's right.
The only other thing is that another
ahead.
thing too, if you aren't sure of your mastering, there are a lot of those CD print companies that have mastering stuff in their budget as well. Yeah. So you can send that to them. You can send them the files and they'll be like, hey, here's yours. It doesn't sound bad, but we could do this to it for an extra $200 to $600, depending on what you have. I don't really know, but
I've never really dabbled on that one, but I know
I've done it one time.
Not too expensive, but it is expensive.
I've done it one time, and I did it for one song because I wanted to see what the true difference in quality was. It blew my fucking mind. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. So I can't say that for all of them, but kind of see if they have some examples or if they can send you like, here's an example of what we had and then what we did. A lot of them are starting to do that now because a lot of people don't want to pay for something they can't tangibly hear or see or touch or whatever. So they'll work with you on that. Check it out because if you're mastering from home doing the DIY studio thing, maybe they can help bump that up to the next notch for you to give you that better audio that you want because audio is king. That's the reason you're making an album.
No, absolutely.
You need it to stand out.
And I've noticed that there's a difference between like, for instance, a digital master and a physical master.
There is. So a physical master is actually done at a different bit rate, and what that does is it's made for the fact that CDs and vinyls can actually hold a better audio quality. When you can put something onto your phone, you have to digitally master it in a different way because it's such a compressed file to make it stay on the phone with everything else that's on the phone and not take up a huge amount of space. Because an audio file is actually pretty decent sized. Yeah. It's just compressed. That's why there was MP3s and MP4s and all that stuff, is because it's compressing the audio file down. When you compress, though, you lose. It's kind of like how everybody always says Facebook kills audio quality and visual quality. Yep. Yes, this is absolutely true because they have to compress it down so that way all the other billions of users on the Facebook market as well can put their stuff up.
Heck, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're compressed too.
We're compressed too.
Yeah.
But
there's no way around it.
Exactly. But if you digitally master something specifically for iTunes, if you actually go on iTunes, there are CDs that literally say mastered for iTunes quality. That is a thing now.
Yep.
And you really have to think about it, that your CD is probably going to sound better than the fucking iTunes. It's just life. But it's such a minute that usually 90% of the general audience is never going to notice it. It's really just the audio files that are really going to pick up on that stuff.
It's assholes like us. Is what
yes, it's assholes like us. Okay. And that is absolutely true.
Bunch of elitist pricks with a podcast. God damn.
Juicy. Which is so funny because I am like just the most humble idiot in the world. And it's just like,
I'm pretty sure we all.
But I mean, we tell you guys this stuff because we want you to learn. We want you to grow. We want you to have the best.
I wish that going into producing CDs and streaming content that I would have known these things because I used the same fucking file format on everything on accident, and I didn't know that the difference between an MP3 and a WAV. The WAV is the one you want to go with. I didn't know that
because the MP3 has already been compressed.
Exactly. Yep. I had no clue about any of that, so I'm like going in blind, and I'm asking our producer all these stupid ass questions, and he's like, "Wait, you didn't use a WAV?" I'm like, "No, man, I totally did." And he's like, "No, you didn't." No, you fucking didn't. I can tell.
I can tell, and that's my name on there. God damn it!
He's like, you better re-upload this shit
and be truthful on that. A lot of those studios will be pissed about that, and they will hit you up because that's their mark on that audio.
It's true. Yep.
They're the ones that did it. They don't want it to sound like shit. They want people to be like, "Holy shit, that's good. Who did this?"
Especially if they gave you a good deal on it.
Yeah, no kidding. And took
once,
photos.
Once I learned those things, the like just different files to use for different sites, and for some reason, Bandcamp and SoundCloud, you can the better quality is an MP3. I don't know why, but when you upload an MP3 to their,
they don't compress it themselves anymore.
It sounds better than using the WAV, and I don't know why.
Because the WAV file is too big, and like he said, they don't compress it themselves anymore.
Yep.
So your compression is the final.
Yeah, you have final say over compression.
But no, these are things that I wish that I'd known going into.
Oh, these are things that I'm still learning.
Yeah,
I don't even know all the details on it.
It's part of why we have podcasts like this. So hopefully the person watching this goes,
definitely.
Holy shit, I was about to put all this as a MIDI file out there. I didn't know what I was doing. And from there, maybe we get one more good album out there.
I'm just hoping that they survived all the way up to at least the 30-minute mark where we actually started talking about useful information.
I think the first 20 minutes
was just Pit Viper jokes.
Honestly, let's gonna be very real. The first 25 minutes of this episode were fucking juicy.
Yeah.
Fucking juicy.
I don't even want to try to stretch my neck like that right now.
Juicy.
God,
I would probably hurt myself.
Yeah, anyway, that's why I'm not doing it. I need to move my neck for the next year.
Physical merchandise.
Okay, so the real quick, the last topic on the CDs thing, you're going to be given a format that you have to put your artwork into. Two things. One, please actually pay attention to what it's saying. If you don't understand it, contact the place, ask them questions. You do need to have a certain visual quality before they will put that on there. And if you don't, and they do it anyway, it's going to look like horrendous garbage. Trust me, I found that out the hard way.
If it says there needs to be a room for bleed, assume it's invisible. Just assume it's invisible, please.
I have something to say on that. Easy Disc, they make it so fucking easy. And it's not, I know it's ironic, the name, but like they send you templates. Once you want to go further with them, they send you templates, put your artwork here, bleed to here, cuts here, and it's all set up. Yep. And then what you do in Photoshop afterwards is you just delete the template and then upload your file. And that was the coolest shit ever, because CD
And
Baby
that's-
does not offer that.
That's correct. Some of them offer it, some of them do not. And so you want to look into that stuff and make sure that you do it right, because there's nothing worse than being so proud that your box of albums is coming and you open it and it looks like, what the fuck just happened here?
My logo is halfway off the front.
They
Or
send
you didn't use a
to-
proper pixelation of
yeah.
your image. Or
And another great thing about EasyDisc is they send you a digital proof along with a physical proof. So you can't even go through with the printing until you get your physical proof and send them the code on it and approve it.
yeah.
Nice. The other thing there too is if you're working with a designer, they're probably gonna have some experience with working with companies like this, but and understanding what kind of DPI to get to them in order to get the highest quality product back. Work with your designer. Just trust them. If you get files back from your designer and you have to send them off and you don't know what to send, ask your designer. They're gonna know.
Right. So just make sure, because that's really the final block of it is your artwork.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't need a jewel case anymore, guys. I hate to say this so much because I love them, but you don't need them anymore. You don't
My
need the
heart,
booklets.
man.
I know it sucks.
I want the booklets though. If you have them, send them to me.
I want
Yeah.
them too. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you. If you're talking about cost efficiency, if you're a young up-and-comer and you're an underground
absolutely.
band, I get it. Do the sleeve. Just make sure the sleeves front and back looks dope. Call it a day. Now, if you have the funds to do it, please make booklets. Those things are fucking dope, and I absolutely love them.
That
I
was one
will
thing-
say. Go ahead.
No, you spoke first,
Fine,
bro. I'm over
fine.
here
Beat
juiced
that
up.
Fucking hell.
Okay, go.
Okay. So no. If you're creating material for the purpose of putting it in a booklet, I mean, even if you're not making a booklet, if you're like decide against it from a cost perspective, still make the material, because there's so much you can use it for. And if it's not now, then maybe it's down the line. Maybe it's your first run was just a couple sleeves to get it into people's hands, and you're like, holy crap, there's actual interest for this. Holy crap, maybe we can, we did a couple shows and we made $200.
Yeah, one of my favorites is
Hiding.
Desolate. Right there. So this Desolate poster is actually
Hiding
CD,
perfectly behind
is
the mic.
actually the art that they had in their CD booklet. And the CD booklet, they're probably not going to be able to see it from there. But anyway.
If only I could zoom in.
Right. But the thing is that it's one of those things where the CD book art was so dope, and I actually hit them up and said, dude, that thing's dope.
Yeah.
They actually ended up making posters of it later on, because it was like, everybody really likes this artwork. We're going to make some posters out of it. Still the same art. You're just changing the aspect of it. You would know the more terms for this, but you're giving it a better pixelation rate or DPI
Use
rate.
the higher res version.
Higher res rate. You're the photographer, not me, dude.
and when it comes to, there's so many things like that. One of my favorite bands, I mentioned them a whole bunch on here, Neck of the Woods. Their lead singer, and I think it's his sister, I might be wrong, they do a lot of the design work for Neck of the Woods. And they make these designs and they put them on everything. I've seen them on tote bags, I've seen them on shirts, I've seen them, and they're on the album too, and they're in the album booklet and in the promo. They're just everywhere. Once you have designs, we've done a whole episode on merch, and I definitely refer you back to that one. But if you have the design, you've put the time, effort, money into getting these designs,
Use them for everything they're worth.
and every little bit of merch you put out there with that album's artwork on there is a promotion for that album. It's maybe one more person who goes, what are you wearing, bro? Shirt looks cool. What's that about? Oh, check them out.
Absolutely.
And that's what you want from it. Other than, of course, your dedicated, loyal fans, like your mom and your dad, who can just, wear your stuff around the house so you don't feel like nobody's listening to your music.
All right, physical aspect.
Physical aspect of?
You wanted to go into
No,
the
I
physical
wanted to
aspect.
go into the additional physical merch.
Oh, the additional physical merch. Okay. So I agree with you on that. I was just making sure that I wasn't stopping you from being able to get into it. So I agree with that. Two things. One, if you give me a goddamn shirt with just a square image of your fucking CD, I swear to God, I will murder you. I hate that with so much passion. You have put so much time and energy into your album and your art. Please, for the love of God, if you have attached merch that goes with that album drop, make it look good.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sake, it doesn't take much to take the square image and like not make it square and give it some design to the edges.
What I
absolutely
like
say
about
that.
the incantations tee that we put out, it wasn't just the CD squared; it was the whole.
It was the whole
artwork.
shirt of the artwork, and I
then
can
it
do
bled
that.
into black,
Right.
Instead of
It-
it having a border.
Borders. I hate borders.
Now, you can, if you have borders on your artwork, you can even use them. If your CD album artwork has borders on it, you know what? Maybe the original image expands a little bit past it. There's a hard line in there somewhere. You cut them up. You make them uneven. Something to make it less monotonous, to make it less, oh, hey, I've seen that before. You know, take your logo, take it off of there, put it at the top of it instead. Something to not make it that square. Absolutely. I do think, and I think when you're designing for your album, 100% design for a poster, work back to the album from there.
I think when you're designing art for an album, you should think to yourself, am I going to be using any of this for any other promotional merch?
And if you're not, rethink your decision.
And if you're using it for a shirt, if you have someone designing it for you, tell them, I also want a shirt design for this as well. Overall, it's the same thing. You're just making it so it's not a square.
And it's usually a different file format too.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because
there's a
you're
bunch
talking
of
about
different
different
things.
sizes, and usually that would be in like a vector or something of that nature that you can blow up or shrink down without losing pixelation. And that goes with the CD art too. So like if you get design work for like the CD art, if you have a vector file, you don't have to worry about what size it needs to be. You can just send it off because they can compress it down to whatever or expand it to whatever to make it fit your CD, your shirt. But the thing is that I think
Test your vector files at all the sizes you need them at. Just test them.
well, I would presume that your guy would do that.
Right, but I mean from a design perspective.
Oh yeah.
If the design looks good when it's small, but then you blow it up a lot bigger, and you're like, holy crap, we
Now
kind of
this-
messed that up.
Yeah, now this kind of stands
and those
out.
like little simple lines that you don't really notice because it's like 2 pixels on your design, but then you blow it up to a poster and it's 3 inches. Like, oh yeah, no, that's crooked.
It now looks like my dog has a giant wiener. Because he's a wiener dog.
Oh my god!
Anyway,
Yeah, thanks, Advocate.
it's hard. Fucking Nathan.
Dude, his
I fucking
wiener
love
dog
his
is
dog.
named Boner.
It's the coolest fucking dog ever.
It
He takes it
absolutely
on
is.
skateboard rides. He takes it on
He takes it to shows.
motorcycle.
But
like
its name is Boner.
It's Boner.
It's a wiener dog named Boner, and it is the coolest fucking dog ever.
Dude, he took it. He came.
Advocate Nathan King. If you haven't met his dog Boner, go check out his Instagram
Yes.
or his Facebook. The dog is a fucking treat. I love that dog.
Yes.
He's got it a helmet, little goggles for when they
Dude.
go
Oh,
rides
that's
on the
dope. Okay,
motorcycle.
that's dope.
He has one of those. What are they called? The wheelies that has the
Yeah.
board that you one giant wheel and you
one
tilt.
wheel.
And they're wheelie, aren't
It's a one wheel.
Yeah, it's a one wheel, but there's a brand name that.
But he'll literally like throw him on his back in a little bag and stuff, and just go for rides on that, and then go stop somewhere to park and drink wine or some shit. It's
That's
so
fucking
fun.
bad.
His dog
not
goes
that
everywhere
not
with
that
it.
I would, encourage you drinking wine at a public park, but like that sounds badass.
But dude, the guy's a stallion. I love his
I
dog
would,
so
I would
much.
replace Trevor on this podcast with Boner in a heartbeat.
With the power of editing. Juicin. Now put his dog's face right there as he says, Juicin. And be like, ruff, ruff. It'll be perfect, I'm telling you. Anyway,
I'm out of serious
with that being
comment.
said, I think we've covered the
Yeah,
majority
pretty
of
much
it.
everything we wanted to
Yeah,
cover.
I think we got most of it.
I mean, I could dive harder, but really,
yeah,
I think
same,
the
but-
majority block
But
is there.
we'd be circling back on
Yep.
so many topics. Just
Oh,
more in
real
depth.
quick. Barcodes and UPCs, not necessary.
No, not
I
anymore.
have yet to find anybody who actually really does that. If you have like a local store that's selling the shit, if it was Hastings back in the day, for those of you who can remember what Hastings is.
Grip.
Yeah, no shit.
the whole episode's making me feel old, man.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, places like that, yeah, they had to put it into a UPC and all that stuff. And
Back then, the old
barcodes-
laser
Scan
disc.
it.
Right, because they have to scan it over their machines.
Cool.
But if you're just going down to like a little local mom and pop shop or a coffee bar or
If
whatever,
they put the price stickers on themselves, you're probably fine.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Most places don't need the barcode or the UPC. That's really more of the big dog game. The other thing is too, you really don't need to wrap your CDs. I don't get what jewel cases. I get.
No,
well,
please don't.
There's a certain amount of professionalism though that I find
guess
in
that's
having
true.
a polygraphed CD and or
I guess that's
so
true.
I'm
I'm second guessing it.
If I see a polywrapped CD at a show, I tend to not buy it because I'm like, I'm already wasting so much plastic just by
I never open them. It just makes me feel like they're actually putting work into their shit.
I'm going to take that back. I'm going to leave that discretion to the buyer or the purchase.
For me, like
I prefer to see it.
So
I prefer not to.
I don't like seeing it on the jewel case because the jewel case, it kind of throws me off. But for the sleeve, I get it because those can fall out easily.
Yeah, totally.
No,
so
the
that
sleeve, I
makes
get
more
it
sense to
more.
me. And I do not want tape on my sleeve because it tears the fucking image up.
Don't do that.
Really, that's about it, though. I think
I've
that's
got
where I'm at.
nothing
I just was I forgot about that barcode part of it.
I rambled enough and juiced enough.
Yeah, I'm good. So with that being said, should I hit the red button?
I think
John, why don't you hit the red button?
You should
Oh my
slide
goodness!
I think you should hit the red button.
Oh yeah.
Do it, Jan.
Of course.
Anal seepage. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are to the section of the show where we talk about who you reppin'. Jan, you want to tell me about who you're reppin' today?
Pit Vipers.
Pity up.
But of course, I am repping the homeboys of Pound, and in a very special way, I am repping the Butt Rock Bobby shirt.
The Butt Rock Bobby shirt. Bobby Mansfield, the man, the myth, the legend. And if you can't tell on this, but he's got himself some Pound of whiskey to fucking chug that shit down with a thumbs up because we all know that Pound's about the thumbs up.
Lives.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Talk about Pound.
Pound, absolutely love them. It's a two-man band from Seattle. They play mathcore. It's just a guitar player and a drummer. And
David Stigney.
I say
David Stigney.
I say just a guitar player, and the two guys are absolute wizards at their craft. And their music, the way they write it makes their technical ability shine like nothing else. Absolutely love them. And you know what? For just two guys who love what they do, they put on one hell of a show.
Mathcore through and through.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No singing.
100.
It is just instrumental. But oh my fuck, are they? You're not wrong. They are wizards at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They also do not require a PA.
No, they will get on the floor with the crowd and play with them.
That and the dude brings two ginormous full stacks.
Yes.
Well, that and the drummer plays
Yeah.
with two completely different kits.
Isn't it one like a 26-inch bass? Yeah, it is 26
Yeah, it's
inches.
massive.
It's bigger than
so
mine,
if
I
you
know
don't
that.
know, I don't have one behind us, unfortunately. Is the Pound emblem on the back of that shirt?
No, but it's on the whiskey bottle.
It's on the whiskey bottle.
It's on the whiskey bottle,
It's
but-
going to be right there.
Oh, that's right. You're going to put it in. So it's a bigger circle with a little circle. What that's supposed to represent is the two drum kits. And
Two kicks.
The two kicks.
Yeah.
And then the
Nine
strings
strings.
is
Nine
the nine
lines.
strings.
Yeah.
that he
Nine
plays
strings.
on.
Yep. Wonderful guys too. Do a lot for the local scene. If you have the chance, buy their shit. Check them out. See them live when that's a thing again.
When you say buy their shit, they have some of the dopest merch.
They
out
have a
there,
Butt
too.
Rock Bobby shirt. Well, not
They
more.
literally have
one.
merch for everything. I have beach towels.
At the Ginger show, I was more impressed by them than Ginger, and I bought Pound's merch instead of Ginger's merch, mainly because he was explaining this T-shirt design of somebody's barbecued ass.
Yes. They have ones with like Airbud the dog slamming the Pound symbol.
Just so much shit, so much good
Their
shit.
merch is so great. Go look at it, please.
Yes.
And they have some of the most unique stuff out there. Please buy something from them. They're
And when it comes to
amazing.
album releases, they've been teasing an album release as well, so I'm very fucking excited.
Yeah, they've been working really hard in the studio as of late, and currently they have been working on like releasing some of their own personal art as
Yes.
well. So that's been really cool to check out as well. So very static, like crazy.
Why are you still watching this video? Go check them out. Do
Shut
it.
up. They can do it.
No, they need to finish this
They need to
video.
finish this video. All right, so Trevor, who you repping?
I'm not repping anything metal, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. It's music, bro.
One of my favorite, I would say, like sad boy clout rappers, Trippie Redd. Love his music. He just put out a fucking full length of like 20 songs called "A Love Letter to You 4." And it's fucking perfect if you ask me. Like, it's good messages. Yeah, he's kind of cloudy, whatever the fuck. But for fans of like Juice WRLD, Lil Peep, Lil Tracy, just shit like that. Some of my favorite music to listen to when I'm just chilling.
Nice. Is he more mainstream or underground?
Oh, 100% mainstream. This guy hit it off bigger than Lil Peep did.
Okay.
Straight up. When they found Trippie Redd, it was right around like the time of the whole sad boy rap movement. And Trippie Redd was just this nerdy mathematician kid. Kind of an industry plant, kind of not, because he did it on his own. But once WMG found him, it was like, bam, here's some money.
Oh, cool.
So he just went mainstream, like mainstream. Like he outsold Wiz Khalifa this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I really don't know Trippie Redd, so that's why I asked. It's like I don't know much about him.
He's very niche. Like you're either gonna love him or hate him because it's either he does like some hype clout rap or he does kind of some like auto tune sad shit.
Yeah, he definitely. When you walk past Trevor's room and he's in one of his moods, that's what you're hearing.
Oh yeah,
okay.
most definitely.
So odds are I've heard it.
Oh yeah,
I know you've heard it
multiple times. He actually, what song is it that he did with MGK recently? It's on the Tickets to My Downfall. So you've definitely heard him.
Okay.
It's
I've definitely heard him.
Definitely.
All I Know, and that one featuring Trippie Redd.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you have heard him because I know we listen to that album a lot.
We do.
But yeah, that's who I'm repping. Blaine,
Kelly.
who you repping, Blaine?
It's gonna make me sad
Why is it going to make you sad?
because I missed this show.
But they're such an amazing band.
They are an amazing band,
And they
I'm
deserve
sad I
to be
missed this
repped.
show.
One of their
Yes.
guitarists looks like one of my childhood friends.
So I am repping the band Blood and Thunder. So Blood and Thunder is from Seattle. They call themselves melodic metal. Jan calls them power metal.
It's like it's death metal with power metal influences.
I like to think of it as it is death metal mixed with Dungeons and Dragons. No, I'm serious.
no, I'm
it
about it.
seriously
I'm
makes
about
me think
it.
of like
You
when you
just
get like a
nailed it.
metal band that's like all about like we summon wizards and the force is with us and everything nerdy and fantastic in this world. That's what I think of when I think of Blood and Thunder. Now, granted, is that what their lyrics are? No, they're not. They're actually really good. But the sound that they give, it's kind of like Death Clock
yeah.
and wizards and sorcery
Yeah,
mixing
I was gonna
together.
say, it's Death Clock meets Hammerfall.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's really good. It's really technical. It's really good. But it's really good music. The guys came down. The drummer is actually the singer.
So fucking badass.
It's so
too.
good.
He plays the most massive Mike Portnoy kit ever. Like,
But they're just super cool dudes, and I really enjoyed their time. I would make posts online about like, man, my drummer's been looking for some new triggers. What do you guys, what are people out there using? They're always on top of like trying to keep up with the community, and they were in there and they were talking with me about that and about guitars. I mean, super humble dudes, super cool dudes. They actually have a podcast themselves. Oh, why can't I think of the name of it right now?
It's right there on the screen. Can't you see it?
We'll pull it up for you guys so you guys can see it. But the drummer / singer has a podcast that he does as well, and it's really good. I'm so sorry I can't think of the name right now. I apologize.
We'll plug
but
it. We will
plug it. We will make sure that it is taken care of and tag you and everything. But it is a really good podcast. I've listened to it a few times, and I'm just like, man, these guys are really just cool. They really just give a flying fuck about the entirety of everything.
they're really
super
sweet
supportive
dudes too. Like they're really awesome, just sweetheart dudes. Like
they're really. I think they're friends with Pound, if I'm not mistaken, and you would definitely see them hanging out. Like they are just two peas in a pod. Super cool cats.
When we played with them, like it was just nothing but love.
Yeah.
Straight up, they're just awesome dudes.
And I love their artwork because it really goes with that whole like Death Clock.
Yes.
Meets swords and sorcery. Or
Oh no, they
wizards and warlock.
have the
They've
whole
got
fantasy vibe down.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite one is the sorceress with the bears on the side of her.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. I actually think it's hanging up over there somewhere, but I can't see it because of the
I think they're
9
the
monitors.
only
Yanos.
other band that I've ever seen do what your band does and play other headstocks.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do
Yeah.
kind of fuck around
Yeah.
with all that shit too.
No, really, and it's actually really cool because like you said, they don't have a front man, so their guitarists and their bassists, they all like
They have to give
they're-
off the showmanship.
and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
like great.
It's really a fantastic gig. If you can ever check them out, please do, and go buy their merch as well because support. Yeah, much
Fucking
love.
well designed too.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
They've got shirts, they've got sweaters, they've got
Yep.
these tank tops. Everything's super comfortable. They're not using the thick, overused materials. It's really nice. But with that being said, I think that's who we reppin'. Anybody else got anything to add to this episode?
Nah.
Get them pitties. Get them pitties. Show the gun. Give them the guns. Do the brothers' guns. Give them the brothers' guns. I don't have any pitties, but I will have some after post editing. But anyway,
I'm gonna get so much shit for this episode.
it's all good. I hope it gives us so
from
much
us.
shit.
That's why I said it.
Should we mention?
We may not have an episode coming up next weekend. I might be out of the country for just a little bit. Sorry.
So just so everybody knows, we'll try to still do something fun. Maybe me and Trevor will make like a goofy little thing, but it will not be a BPM episode. We'll just do something fun for you guys. Jan's going to go visit some family out of the country, and that's pretty much about it. So we just wanted to give you folks an update for what's coming. And we apologize for last week not having an episode. It was kind of one of those things where it was like,
dude, Trevor farted.
It reeked.
It sounded like the snare from St. Anger.
Why do you gotta tell him about this?
Because we vomited everywhere, and it took us forever to clean this whole setup again.
You know what, guys? It's not my fault. I have Crohn's and IBS, okay?
Don't eat Taco Bell. Anyway.
I'm still paying for that.
So, with that being said, I am Blaine, a.k.a. Papa Bear. To my left, this is Jan the photographer.
No.
And to my right is Trevor the musician.
All jokes aside, make sure you go check us out on Facebook, Papa Bear and Associates. If you have anything you want to send in to us, you want to send us some wacky pictures, shit, like, what are you doing?
I want an uwu, but I want it combined.
Okay. Back to what I was saying. You can find all of us on Facebook, any social media you want to. Go ahead and give that like, subscribe, leave a comment. I don't care if you comment like penguins or some shit, but just hit that notification bell and spread love amongst yourselves.
Also, something I'd like to add to that, too, is that if you guys can help us spread the word and get more subscribers on YouTube, once we get over 250 or 300 subscribers, I believe it's right around there, we can actually start doing this live.
Yeah, that was
you guys can send us questions, and we can have fun with you in these episodes as well, and we can do comments and all sorts of stuff like that.
It's going to be absolutely cursed.
And it'll be chaotic, but we would
it'll
absolutely love to do it with you guys. So if you guys can help us spread the word, we get more subscribers.
Yeah, that is something that I like to do is live streaming. I love it. I love that shit. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. That's all you're going to hear from me.
You got no message before you go?
Just, love each other. Just love each other, man.
Yeah, spread love amongst yourselves and wherever you go.
All we need is love. I was licking his hair, and he doesn't even realize it. He's going to have to watch that later.
I realized it.
Damn, bro. I'm juiced out right now. Brucey juicy, baby. I think that's the first time I've actually almost fell over in this chair.
And with that being said, I am Papa Bear. I love you all. Much love. So much love. We cannot thank you all enough for letting us be these dumb idiots that we are on this fucking screen. And we will see you all again soon.
Ooh-woo.
Ooh-woo me.
Ooh-woo.
Say it, Jan.
I literally can't even.
Thank you, Walmart shoppers. Good night.
Thank you, Walmart shoppers.
Papa Bear and Associates does not take any responsibility for sexual complications while listening to this program. Side effects have been known to include sweating, extended and unexpected erections, perked nipples, butt clenching, inflammation of the testicles, and anal seepage. Furthermore, if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, you should make sure to send us your non-graphic pictures for our viewing pleasure. Thank you and much love.